Hey, everybody. Coming up on today's podcast, it's the official SEMA Show 2021 wrap-up, where we're going to be talking about everything that we experienced, everything that we saw, everything that we digested, and more. What else you got to add to that, Keith?
That's it. That's it, man.
All right, so all that's going to start...
Shortest intro in the planet, but possibly the most value-added return for your investment.
Hey, to steal a line from the great David Letterman, hold on to your wigs and keys. To the podcast. Woo! Man, oh man, the miles we have traveled over the last 10 days. Tired? You tired? You're sore? You a little sore?
Yeah, I'm recovering. I'm probably more tired from the return trip than all the hard work we did that week, but that was just brutal. Yeah. How's your liver, Jay?
It's fine, actually. Being back here for a couple days and kind of getting back to my normal routine of walking, as if I wasn't walking enough.
Right. So what are we talking about here? We just got back from the SEMA Show 2021 in Las Vegas, where we did. I think I'm no exaggeration here. Probably between 10 and 20 miles of walking each day.
Oh, I would think so. Yes.
Yeah.
And that was walking from our hotel over to the MGM Grand, grabbing the first stop on which is the last stop. If you're going south, it's the first stop, or it's the origination point, I should say. Easy for me to say after, 7 days of Vegas. But, that ride in, there's 6 stops before you get to the Las Vegas Convention Center. And then you get off if you've been there, you know what we're talking about. It's a hoof over from the final station or the Vegas station in there. But there were some cool things that we saw. We're going to get into something that Tesla had to offer us while we were there, which was completely blew our minds. It was awesome. And we're going to have a video coming out about that as well. Keith is hard at work editing all of the videos that we have in the can. If you haven't been paying attention to our channel or been under some sort of rock or your head's in the sand, we've probably put out, about 20 to 22 videos over the last 7 days?
I think so. Those are already out, and there's, as they would say at the commercial breaks during the Johnny Carson Tonight Show, there's still more to come.
Holy cow, man. Yeah, we got tons of great coverage.
If you guys want to ever know, I know everybody thinks, hey, I want to be a YouTube content creator. I want to go do that. I think what most people don't realize is the tremendous amount of post-production work that goes on after you press the record button. Recording is the easy part, right, Jay?
Oh, it's nothing, man. Yeah, it's all the...
It's like painting a car. Painting the car is really, if you know what you're doing, it's the shortest part of the entire process.
It is. Because
it's the prep work. It's the taping off, the sanding, the body work, all that stuff.
Yeah, every bit of it is, and it's key to success. And that's something we would like to bring up to you guys, is that if you don't think that the SEMA Show, the automotive industry, is a big deal, our media channel over on YouTube, and you can get there it's youtube.com/Parts Counter Gurus. We are up 232% on viewership, and I think we set a record for subscribers. So for all of you who are subscribed and have subscribed, thank you so much, because it's free to you, as I always tell you, but it's priceless to us. It helps us keep doing what we're doing. It also helps us improve the content that we bring you by getting a bigger audience. So just keep that in mind. So if you haven't subscribed and you're listening to this podcast, please make sure you go over to youtube.com/Parts Counter Gurus, turn that subscribe button from red to gray, and click that bell so you are notified when any of these videos come out. And thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
We seriously mean it. Like, it's been a great ride, and we appreciate all the love and support and followers and all of it, and that kind of makes it all worth it for us. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd be taking free Bronco rides even if you guys weren't subscribing, but
yeah, we'll get into that.
It pushes me to be better. So
Yeah.
I think that's true for both of us.
So, and yes, absolutely it does. And speaking of going for a ride in a Bronco, we're going to go down the list of things that we experience, people we talk to, and you know who you are if we talk to you. Thank you for being part of our trip. We appreciate it. But I'd like to start off first, early in the podcast here, Keith, if you don't mind. We had an opportunity to meet with our good friends over at AERA, Engine Builders Association. So thank you to Jim, Steve, Chuck, Rob, Dave, and Ron for taking the time to talk to us. We shot a little video segment for them. You can go to aera.org to see that. You can go to their Engine Professional podcast to listen to their podcast. You can.
It's on our channel too, isn't it?
It's
Did we
on
put
our
it
channel.
on our channel?
So
it's over on our
there.
YouTube.
Yep.
So hey, yes.
What we can do?
Pardon the interruption, Jay. We have a playlist created on our YouTube channel for SEMA 2021. Every video that we're putting out, every video from the SEMA show, will be in that playlist on our YouTube channel. Just look for the playlist. It's right there. It's also at the end. If you watch any of our SEMA videos, it will be at the end of the video. There's a playlist for SEMA 2021. And you know what? This is the cool part, and then I'll shut up and let you get back to your thank yous. If you just go on YouTube and you search for SEMA 2021, there's a very good chance you're going to see us in one of the results. That is how successful, that is the success that we have enjoyed as a result of the work that we've done. So again, thank you. That's because of you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely.
For giving us all those likes. So so back to AERA. We shot a video with them.
We did. We shot a video with them kind of explaining what they do. And I traded emails this morning with Steve to try to get a little bit more info about an upcoming show. These guys are very well traveled in that regard. Their presence in the aftermarket and the engine building community, the machining community, is very large. So I asked Steve if he would give me some information for the Performance Racing Industry Show that's going to be going on December, I think, like the 13th or something like that. Isn't that right? 13th through 14th or 9 through 13th? I don't know, something like that. I'll look it up, and at the end of the show, we'll give you a link to PRI and everything. It'll be plugged into the podcast link, so just make sure you check that out. But there is a very strong possibility that we will be there. At what capacity this year, we don't know yet. We're working on that. We're getting our ducks in a row. So thank you, Steve, for prodding us to try to get us out there. He was very interested in knowing whether or not we were coming, and I do think it'll be fun. So let me give you guys some information. If you're going to Performance Racing Industry Show, if you haven't planned on it yet, and you do, make sure you stop by and see these guys and tell them the Parts Counter Guru sent you. They will be in booth 5514. That is 5514, where you can see what AERA has to offer for membership, as well as sign up to join AERA with a show discount. Process Pro, which is AERA's own proprietary software with over 11,000 engines containing specifications, bulletins, casting numbers, and diagrams. They're going to be there available to demonstrate all that stuff. If you're looking for training in the engine building industry, AERA offers an online training program where you can work at your own pace, taking an 18-chapter course with a year to take. Now, they'll be in Machinery Row, which is a big deal. If you're a machine shop and you've been to PRI, you know exactly where that's at. That's a very well-positioned booth for them. That is the heart and soul of that show. So stop by there and see what they have to offer. They have an EREF engine giveaway, AERA Big Block Chevy engine giveaway. For this year's engine build project, EREF decided to go old school and build one of the performance market's all-time favorites, a Big Block Chevrolet. And that's going to be happening. Okay, here you go. So the show is December 9th through 11th, guys. That is a Thursday, Friday, and a Saturday. But the drawing is Saturday, December 11th at 1 p.m. And that is Eastern time, I think, or are they on Central time? I can't remember. They used to not change the clocks there. I can't remember. But anyway, the tickets, you get 10 for $20. It includes free shipping within the continental U.S. to transport the engine from Indiana Convention Center, and you do not need to be present to win. You can order tickets online at www.aera.org, or just look for Engine Giveaway or call Karen at 815-526-7600 to order tickets by phone. And there's the Engine Professional VIP Party at PRI, Friday, December 10th, after the PRI show in room 236 from 5 to 8 p.m., appetizers and all that good stuff. Just check with Karen at AERE at 888-326-2372, extension 200, or email her at karen@aera.org.
Well, I'm in
get
now.
The information. Dude, we'll if we're there, I'm certain that we'll be part of that. So thank you, Steve, and everybody at AERA. We wish you well at that show, and we are hoping that we will be there for you. So there you go.
Google says it's Eastern time, so the show will be on Eastern Standard Time.
They used to not change, or they did. I can't remember how it was, but it would be like I would be like when they changed time, we would be on the same time. When they didn't, they would be. But now they changed though, so I think that's the case. So
right.
Okay, so now let's get into us. Let's talk about us, Keith. And what we did, man. I was excited for you for a couple reasons, but
is there something I should know about that happened?
Well, the Broncos, man. Let's talk Broncos.
Okay. There were no shortage of them.
No.
At the show.
We have an upcoming
We've
video.
got an interesting segment on that coming out. I don't want to let the cat fully out of the bag yet. Jay, who's putting cats in bags? But I do.
There are some people that do that, and I it's bad. Don't put cats in bags, man.
So we have, I think, possibly one of the most entertaining videos that we shot at SEMA that will be out shortly, and it does have to do with the Bronco, and it's a parody, and I think if you just make sure you subscribe over on our YouTube channel, I believe in my heart you will enjoy it.
Oh, you absolutely will. But let's talk about that Ford
and if
booth.
not, like I always say, I don't really care if you watch, just make sure you like and subscribe.
Right, absolutely. So no shortage of Broncos. We've gotten that out of the bag. Our first press event, and we've talked about this on previous podcasts, our rep up of day 1 and day 2 and 3. It's out there on our website. Go check it out, partscounterguru.com, and hit the podcast link and you'll find it. But that first day, the press events, we had Toyota, Lexus, and Ford. Toyota was definitely just all in on TRD off-road.
Well, yeah, now they started the event and they focused again on the Supras and the Toyota 86.
For like 5 minutes.
The GR. Yeah, but, it feels like they're just trying to split their time and cover everything. And I get it. They've invested in that platform. They've got to sell cars. Okay. And people were mildly entertained by it or interested in it. And then the minute that they took a walk over to the other side of their area, it got super interesting. Everybody got excited. The crowd got excited. The media got excited because it got into Overland stuff.
Oh, big time. It was huge. I think the most impressive thing that I saw, and we covered it, I thought that, even if you're not let's just say you just have an old Tacoma, right? And it's not like super off-road ready and stuff. But if it is, you kind of get the best of both worlds with this thing. It's that TRD Sport trailer, which is basically the bed of a Tacoma that is built into an overlanding rig, where you've got a rooftop camper on the racking system on top of the bed. It had you had a camp kitchen built into it. It's a single axle configuration. Not a big deal, but it's all decked out.
Are they going to make that for sale? Or are they still trying to decide?
No, that's a big deal, dude. That's a really big deal. I
Okay.
don't think that they were testing the waters with it. I think they were showing what they've been working on. And in my opinion, I think that they would be crazy not to do that.
Well, I mean, there were so many other overland trailers. Now, understand when we say overland trailer, what we really mean is this is not like a fold down or a pop up, or even to some extent like, the Winnebago Hike, which is just a little bit higher of a lift. It's designed to go off road. But your traditional RV towable, those do not sit up high. They're usually longer. They're lower to the ground. The ones we're talking about have enough ground clearance that you can pull them off the beaten path, off the pavement, onto BLM land, out into your own space where there aren't a lot of other people. And to be able to do that, you've got to have that ground clearance. You've got to have the big oversized tires. That's all part of their get up.
Right.
So there were tons of other competitors, I guess, that were doing their own thing, startups.
Yeah, they were out there. Voorhees had, we did a video on those guys.
But Toyota, Toyota coming to the show with one.
Yeah.
Brand recognition.
They stated when they started that press event, like you said, they were over on the Supers first, and then they came over and they're like, okay, now we're going to talk about the Overland commitment that we have right now and the commitment to the Toyota Racing Development brand. And boy, did they come out swinging, man. I mean, down to the Tacozilla, that new 2022 Tundra that was absolutely outfitted to the gills, man, with everything you could possibly imagine. And our good friend Alan, who is AKA the Pandra, who we didn't run into, and I'm not real sure he made it. We reached out to him, but say, hey, Alan, if you did, sorry we missed you. We looked for you. But I read some of your Instagram posts, and you're absolutely right. Toyota nailed it. They killed it. So that Toyota Tundra that they had on there, I'm going to go out and say it. It is the Pandra approved. He was liking that. It would be like something that he would build. And if you follow him over on Instagram, his Instagram handle is @thepandra, _Pandra. You'll find him. And he has a lot of fun when he's going off road. So yeah, just killer stuff, man. I loved it. All these are videos that you can watch, guys. Everything we're talking about, there's videos out there on this stuff. So make sure you hit them up. What else? Well, let's just keep rolling. What do you want to go into next?
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Does it bother you at all? And this is all of them. This is not just Toyota. Ford, all of them. Everybody that did a press event, I think Lexus was guilty of this too. Their style is that they bring a corporate executive out, which makes sense because those are the people that are at the top in the organization and they know what's going on. They are the leaders in many cases in those companies, and they're reading off a teleprompter at a media event, and it's fine. It's kind of like watching like the president give a speech or whatever. But don't you sort of feel like it would be more entertaining if they kind of just freewheeled it? Like, you get Leno out there, and he's really not paying attention.
He's not reading a script. Most of the people out there, it's well scripted, but you could tell that they're reading teleprompter. There's teleprompters going.
It's rehearsed. They've spent time on it.
And that's okay. It's a presentation, and it gets a lot of international coverage. So I get it. It's well polished. But, for me, man, I just want to get down to the reveal. And let's talk nuts and bolts, man. Let's see what you have on the plate. And I was really kind of like, on the Lexus press event. It wasn't that. I was not that impressed with it.
Yeah, I agree.
They didn't really. The product they had there, they had already had a press event about what was sitting on the floor there, which was the LX.
I think it was the GX.
Was it GX 600? I get my G's and L's mixed up. But anyway,
we've seen so much since then.
And the reason why that was important, and there's a video that will be out on that as well. We haven't posted that one yet, but we got inside of it and took a look at it. The reason why that's kind of important to us is because I've been saying this. I think that's actually going to be a little look into the future of what the Land Cruiser may be for the U.S. I'm just saying.
I just feel like, the platform, like YouTube, for example, clearly there is an appreciation for this style of kind of how to talk to the camera that's off script, so to speak. Now, there are some people on social media that do read from scripts and it's rehearsed. And it was very rehearsed at all these, it wasn't that they didn't do a good job on the delivery. It's just that style, it kind of counters the current trend, especially like on YouTube, where, when Jay and I go out and shoot videos, like, we know what we want to say and we have an idea of where we're going with it. And to some extent, we've rehearsed that a little bit. But we also appreciate the value of having a real conversation in front of a rolling camera where anything could happen, and you just have to kind of be ready to go with it.
Spontaneous.
It's jazz improvisation,
Right, absolutely. It's great because it can take you. That's what I like about what we do. For example, the podcasting that we do. All of this is not scripted, guys. We have a couple of notes that we took down. This is what we're going to talk about. And there's nothing rehearsed. Keith could be in a great mood today or a bad mood today. It just depends. His humor can be a little overwhelming, and his humor can be like spot on. Hey, we've all had good days and bad days. That's just the way it works. No, we're actually the best damn podcast out there, so make sure you subscribe to this thing. And that is over at partscounterguru.com. I'm telling you, we are badass. Anyway, so enough of Lexus. We saw that. I mean, they just taunted a few of the race cars. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, I just was really looking forward into the and good for them. Don't get me wrong. That's some cool stuff. But that's SEMA for me is more of what's in the future of the aftermarket and accessorizing your rigs and those sorts of things, and new vehicles come out
and Overland. I mean,
absolutely.
Look, you had Nissan with the Frontier tricked out for Overland.
Two of them.
They had the Proto Z. Well, then you had the Pathfinder.
Which was killer, man.
Nismo off-road. Off-road.
Yes.
All tricked out with like a camp kitchen in the back. And then Honda, which was kind of a shocker. We found Honda. And they had their booth was literally set up in a mock-up of a campsite, right?
Yeah. Just basically throwing out the Trail Sport brand. And they had a Ridgeline and a Passport. And they looked great. They had a little camp kitchen, racks on the back end, the spare tires, the spare tire racks and everything that kind of come out, and the rooftop tents. And they were clearly going after the Overland crowd.
Even GM, who Chevrolet had several they had a lot of floor space.
Yes,
so whereas Ford had one big area, and granted it was like prime location.
Oh, great location.
And GM went middle of the showroom floor in the South Hall, and then they tried to get as close to the middle of the floor as they could in the West Hall.
Right.
And their model is a little bit different in how they present. They don't do a press release; they just give out T-shirts.
Right.
So.
yeah, that's it. We didn't get their T-shirt, but we slid over to the Hummer.
Yeah, well, that was still a GM. So they had the Hummer EV, which even the Hummer EV, they had an Overland setup with a rooftop tent. So again, they recognized the trend there. And I mean, they had 3 Hummer EVs for us to look at. Did you see? I didn't see any Corvettes in their booth. Did you? Do you remember?
Not in their booth, no. But there were Corvettes everywhere.
There were Corvettes there, but not official GM.
Well, you want to know why?
Sure.
The feeling's gone. The feeling's gone, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that ship has come and sailed. In 2019, that was a big deal for them, and they had a bunch of the Corvettes out there, kind of, and then even after that, we found out about the Corvette Museum show that was going on, which you actually went up and took part in, and there was a great video. But it was forever before I actually saw one out on the highway, and then they kind of started rolling in,
Yeah.
But,
so So along the lines of things that were missing at SEMA, so couple key things: no international travel. Ironically, they missed it by about a week. So all of your exhibitors that would typically be there from international, a lot of stuff made in China. A lot of it even for the major manufacturers, and those manufacturers from the Chinese manufacturers had very, very little, if any, audience at the show because international travel was restricted. But that was okay. I mean, it was still actually the turnout for the show was way better than we thought it was going to be.
Apex was not so good.
Apex was not so good. Something else that was missing. I've got 2 or 3 things on my list here. Of course, were the donuts in the media room.
Right.
Just a little side note here, man. If you're going to tell the media that you're going to feed them and there's going to be breakfast in the morning, it's best to have enough food there that you're not out by 8:30 every day. I mean, that's
right.
It's Vegas.
Right.
There's people staying out late. There's guys like us who are up posting videos until 1, 2 a.m. in the morning trying to get content out. We're maybe not rolling in at 7:30.
Right, burning fumes when we walk in the door to start all over again. So we're covering your show, and yes, it would be. We were looking for just a donut, man. We appreciate the coffee. The coffee was great. The accommodations were great in there. We had we're able to use the lockers, and the Wi-Fi wasn't terrible. It was pretty good to get some work done while we were there. I will say this, from someone who is in media. The interference in that building when you're trying to go live
we couldn't
feed,
live stream.
We couldn't
because of it. Rare exceptions.
So there needs to be some attention to detail paid to that, because for us as media covering your show, it would be much appreciated if we had some good signal to work with. Outside of the building, we didn't really have that much of an issue because we did live stream the first night we were there,
right? Which
was at the media event out front where Chip Foose was, and he was showing all of his, he brought his truck in and stuff like that, and we have that video's out there, so go check it out.
Some of it has to do with the amount of people on the cellular network, all concentrated in that convention center hall or halls.
And Keith and I are so particular about the product that we give you, our audience, that we did try it one more time using a cell phone, and it worked out okay. It wasn't terrible, but we would rather not do a live show for the sake of it being a quality content for you. And so we just decided to just record everything on a device, and our cameras and GoPros and everything, and then that's why we were up to 2 or 3 in the morning trying to get this stuff out.
Jay, not us. This is not specifically us. I'll just say all media. Considering what you're doing there, right? You're walking between 10 and 20 miles a day. You've got between probably 10 and 20 pounds of camera gear and laptop gear and all that strapped to your back. Then you're, literally grabbing meals on the run, and then you're, getting back to your room or whatever. You're working for a couple hours to get the content out, and then you're, grabbing a meal, and then you're coming back and doing the same thing. And, is there anybody that works as hard as the media at these shows?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean,
it's fun. But it's hard work.
Right. I've been an exhibitor, and yes, I've had to stand in a booth for, 8-10 hours a day, and then go and entertain your customers or guests. I get that, but yeah, I mean, physically, it's a
workout.
It's a workout, and there's a reason why Keith and I exercise daily and try to stay healthy, because otherwise we couldn't make it. I mean, I think that I'm really impressed with you and myself, considering some of the things that you've been through over the last year with COVID and everything, how your progression to getting healthier has come, which, by the way, that was an interesting thing where Apex required proof of vaccination, and the city of Las Vegas requires you wear masks while you're inside, but once you sit down to eat and everything, of course you could take your mask off sitting at the tables and stuff. But what was funny is that SEMA, no requirement of proof of vaccination. You just had to wear a mask inside. And for the most part, I think there was a lot of compliance. And look, and it doesn't bother me. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying what I observed, that there were some people that were wearing them on their chins, and there were some people that just weren't wearing them at all.
My big issue, and this is not a political statement. This is just me observing. Right. It's like, okay, well, whatever your stance is, whatever that is, okay, it could be no mask, it could be full mask, it could be, the way the airlines are doing it, where it's like, look, we're going to turn this plane around, or the way Disney World does it, if you don't comply, whatever it is, just be consistent, because the minute that you don't that you're not consistent, it doesn't bode well for those of us trying to do what you ask us to do when we look around and go, well, that guy's not doing it. Why should I? You know, we're out here trying to like film some footage, and I'm going to take my mask off for a minute, and that guy's been wearing a chin warmer for 3 hours. I mean, I just pick one. Just pick one and go with it, okay?
Right. Absolutely.
I think that's what fires so many people up is there's just massive inconsistency.
Yeah, again, Keith, thank you for saying that. We're not trying to make this a political thing. We're just saying here's what we observed. And I am of the opinion, just as Keith is, that we just do what we have to do our job. And you could have said you got to sit on the thing and watch somebody throw a ball at a target and you drop in the bucket to get in. I would have done it.
Yeah.
You know?
Just pick one. But the minute that I see a guy go past that booth and he's not wet, well, now I'm like, well, come on. That's, you know.
Exactly, man. So, you know, we're just there to give you the coverage. And we did, and we're very thankful for the opportunity to do that.
While we're dipping our toes in the pool of controversy, I'm going to just go ahead and go one other place. So here's something else that was missing during the show. And I feel like this is the beauty of a podcast. You can go a little bit more long form. You can get into some things that maybe you wouldn't be able to get into on the YouTube side. As a journalist, as a media person, just reporting facts here, okay? This is not opinion. This is not an editorial. This is not an opinion segment. I just want everybody to remember the things that I'm about to say I present to you factually and without opinion, okay? Now, I know a big draw at these shows historically has always been the models in the booths.
Yep.
Okay, you knew where I was going with this, didn't you?
I knew exactly where you were going with it.
And whether you agree with that or don't, and I understand there's people that think it's objectifying women. There's people that love it. You know, there is a reason why automotive calendars in mechanic shops have featured models and swimsuit models for years and years and years. If it didn't sell, they wouldn't do it. Okay. SEMA is no exception.
Look, there's a reason why Sports Illustrated has their swimsuit edition. I mean, come on.
So
it's just what it is.
Historically, a lot of these companies have always hired models to come in and be at the booth and take pictures and press the flesh and all that. And, you know, to varying degrees, you know, it was almost how classy or lack of class are you willing to go with this? You know, Lexus did have some girls dressed up in like business suits that I could tell were models.
Look, 99% of them, Keith, no matter how revealing their outfits are very classy, and 99.9% are very tasteful. So let's just put that out there.
There were two booths that I counted this year in all of the different. So you had the North Hall, the South Hall, and the Central Hall. Right. And this is excluding Apex. Right. I counted two different booths that had models.
Right.
2 total.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not even sure I saw them unless you pointed them out to me. I'm serious. I was.
Yeah. So I kind of got to wonder, like, was it a budget thing? Was it we're dialing this back because it doesn't always go over well? But it's SEMA, man. I mean, this is where everything is over the top, right?
Right. I think that the feet were back. Toes were in the pool, I think, this year. And I think you may have hit the head of the nail, Keith. I think it's a budgetary thing. Because there were models in other areas of the city that were out there. You saw that.
No, I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about.
Walking up and down the streets.
That was somebody else, man. That wasn't me.
Yeah.
Who were you hanging around with while I wasn't around?
Where was I at, man? Did I miss?
What are you doing, man? My wife listens. No, she doesn't. Actually, go ahead.
No, but yeah. I mean, I do think it's a budgetary thing. We saw that in a lot of. There was a lot less swag being given away. You would see a lot of, like, in some of the booths you would have coffee. Some of them would have coffee machines way back when, and you could come over and have a cup of coffee and talk to them, and candy and just all these giveaways. But not this go around. There's not a ton. So I think you're right. I think it's a budgetary thing. So look, I think where Keith is going with this, we want to know. We if you're listening to this podcast and you know somebody that is works for a modeling agency that gets hired out for these shows and stuff, can you reach out to us and contact us at partscounterguru.com and leave us a comment and let us know what you know about that?
Or if you're a vendor that has used them in the past and you're not anymore.
Right. Why? Is it something that COVID has created where there's no more models?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. From a personal standpoint, the thumbnails that we put on our videos when we're at these booths, I just have a feeling that they would actually. It's not a feeling. It's a known fact. Again, I'm just reporting facts here. We get more click-throughs when it's a model in a booth than when it's my face on that thumbnail. I mean, just the facts here.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's a good point. So, make sure you hit that that website, partscounterguru.com.
So Hummer EV. So back to Hummer EV.
Yeah.
Massively huge.
As we were walking through, Led Zeppelin was playing loud, man. That's like one of the Cadillac was like one of the first automakers to use Led Zeppelin music in their ads, and then now the Hummer EV, GMC Hummer EV was using Led Zeppelin, that same song. So I don't know how much money Zeppelin's being paid for that, but good for you, man. Great band. They that's a great song too, by the way. But anyway,
let's say you're Jimmy Page. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got more money than God at this point, right? Would you not be like, okay, here are my terms. I want one of those Hummer EVs. I want it months before everyone else. I want it delivered to my front door, or you can't use my music. Would that not be an acceptable? And to keep for keeps, not as a loaner.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't know if Pagey drives.
And hey, if you don't
anymore,
like
man.
it, well, that's all right. You get a chauffeur, but if you don't like it, Randy Newman's the next number on your Rolodex. Good luck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you know what? Short people got no. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
While we're on the subject of artists and musicians, man, I tell you what, we didn't have the time to do it, but here's what was going on Saturday night. This is no lie. We had the Rolling Stones over at Allegiant Stadium. You had Sammy Hagar and the Wabos playing at the Strat because he has a residency there right now. And then Blackberry Smoke, which is an awesome band out of Atlanta. If you like the Allman Brothers and just good old outlaw country stuff like that, I mean, they're more Southern rock than they are country, in my opinion. But they were playing over at Virgin Hotels. That was a great band. And there were many other ones going on, but we sat in a bar and
Professional bull rider, PBR.
PBR was going on.
Sting residency at the
yes.
at the Caesars.
Right. Yeah,
I mean, it was.
I mean, if you don't think Vegas is back open, and my understanding is it won't be long, they're pulling the mask off too. And the mask mandates are going to start dropping, is what I heard. And I think that in Indianapolis for the PRI show, there may not be a mask mandate during that show. I don't know. Regardless, I'll do whatever I have to do to get in there, but we'll see you there. But yeah, we had a good time. After the show one night, there's a little hotel there, a little bar called the Nomad. Oh, damn it. I've let the cat out of the bag.
Dude, this is exactly why I don't tell people where I RV. Because now this is what now you've done it. Now there's gonna be a line.
Okay, just
so it's called the library, and it's actually set inside a. It's a library. It's a 2-story. It's got the whole ladder that you can roll around. You know, and Jay and I, they have a restaurant on the one side. We ate there one night, and Jay's sitting with his back to the bookshelf, and he's like, "These aren't real books." And I'm like, "Yeah, they are." He pull one out. He pulls it out, and it's like, you know, it's legit. Like, I don't remember what it was, but it was like some classical novel or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So then on the other side of the hall, food was good, by the way. And then on the other side of the hall, they have a similar setup, but it's a piano bar.
Yeah.
And you know, Jay's over there throwing like Pearl Jam and like
Nirvana, Alice in Chains,
Alice in Chains,
which by the way,
he pulled it off.
Which he did. He played. I've never heard "Man in the Box" on piano.
I knew that guy.
Man,
we came in the second night. He's like, "Oh God, you guys again! Please no more with the Stone Temple Pilots."
Yeah, but when you're dropping 20s in the tip jar, he's gonna play, and he did. He did a great job.
And of course, I'm like, Elton John, Howard Jones, like just throwing him softball tosses, right? And he actually did a better job on your. I think he did a better job on.
Even Flow, man. He played Even Flow.
For
Pearl
sure,
Jam
the
great.
Pearl Jam than he did on the Howard Jones. He did fine on the Howard Jones, but he did better on the Pearl Jam.
Yeah, I thought he did an incredible version of Man in the Box. I just didn't hear that. I could not have imagined. How could you arrange it to play it on piano to make it work? And he nailed it. He absolutely nailed it.
We need more piano bars. Would you agree?
We do. I have that filmed.
We'll put it out there somewhere. You just need to put that on social media. Follow us on social media, and you'll get.
I will put it out there on our Parts Counter Gurus, which is it's Facebook.com/Parts Counter Gurus. I'll put it out there, and I'll probably put it on Instagram too, and that's at the Parts Counter Gurus.
All right. So I gotta. This is gonna be a section where I talk a little bit about certain people's lack of humanity. Okay. And it has to do with lowriders.
Oh, boy.
Okay. So one of the challenges that you have in these large shows, and I get it, is, if you've not done any camera work or video work, I wouldn't expect you to know this. It's not really fair of us to say you need to know. But I think there is a certain level of human decency that goes, hey, when you see someone with a camera pointed at someone else holding a microphone and they're standing 7 feet apart, please don't walk between them.
Is that
you just ruin the complete shot. Now, bonus, if you see a clear interview going on where there's one person holding a microphone at another person talking to the microphone while pointing at his product, while a third person has a camera pointed at the two of them and the product, please don't jump in the middle. It will be over in 30 seconds. Go around.
Right.
But yet, we got some jokers with their iPhones that feel like they need to cut in the middle of the shot, walk up to the table, get their 30 seconds of footage, and we were pretty rubbed by a couple of these people's indecency.
Hey, Dave.
Dave's not here, man.
No, man, it's me, Dave. It's me, Dave, man.
No, man, Dave went out. Dave's out. Dave's not here, man. Dave's not here.
No, man, it's me, Dave. I've got the stuff, man.
What?
It's me, Dave. I got the stuff, man.
Dave? Yeah, Dave's not here. He went out.
Yes.
So here's what we're talking about. So there is this cool RC, remote control car hobby company called Red Cat, and they have come up with lowriders. It's really the only production lowrider product out there that's commercially available. In other words, it's not a one-off. That's what they're telling us. And they're cool. You can do all kinds of the cool hop-up lowrider stuff. Of course, Jay's reference there is to Cheech and Chong. What is it? Up in Smoke is the
Up in Smoke, man, with the lowrider. They had one right there in front of us. That's what caught my eye whenever we first.
It's a recreation down to every screw hole matches up of that car from the movie, and you can buy it. And you can buy those cars, and you can go watch our video segment for more information. But
these are lowrider, they're lowrider hoppers, man. They physically have the hydraulics on them.
It's
they are
cool.
working, man. Yeah.
And you will see a guest appearance by who we chose to make Tommy Chong. Is one of these clowns that cut in between us.
So Dave wasn't here. He was there.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why Dave was not here. He was there. And you will see that. That was so we tried our best to salvage the video. Thank you, Keith, for your videography genius and editing to make that one work. I think it came out great. Would like to give some love to the guy who designed those, and he's known as RC Patina Guy, and you can follow him on Facebook. That's the only location that you will find him. But he is a big deal in the RC cars out there in design. He builds them. He custom builds them for people. But this is one of his designs. And Red Cat Racing really hit it out of the park with that
That's
thing.
the manufacturer. Yep.
Yeah, I enjoyed that segment, man. I enjoyed just sitting there, and the guys were great, man. Who gets a job like that? Who gets to be able to sit there and demo?
Oh, you could
RC?
tell when we asked them that, and they all just lit up. It was like, this is the best gig ever, right? We just literally all day we're just sitting here hopping cars up and down.
So thanks to Jay over at Red Cat Racing. Thank you for that. We had a blast with that.
And interesting stuff out of the folks at WD-40. If you own a bicycle, not a motorcycle, a bicycle, you need to go watch that video. I think you will be pleasantly surprised at some of the offerings that they have recently developed.
Yeah, they were really cool about that, man.
Yep.
I thought their display was amazing.
Yeah.
But it put out there, and as Keith said, this ain't your dad's WD-40, because it really isn't. What they're offering now, the numerous, that WD-40 bike, the lube,
they've
the
got
dry
2 or
lube,
3
the
different
cleaner.
versions of it.
Yeah, they really do. It's a big deal, man.
Well,
so
nobody's buying e-bikes. Nobody rides bicycles, right?
Nobody.
I don't know what they were thinking. You're like, that's a horrible idea, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're not just a penetrant company anymore, a lubricant anymore. They do, when you got cleaners and stuff out there, they're the real deal. And thank you again for the folks over at WD-40 who were at SEMA. You really let us into your booth and gave us an opportunity to share your product. So,
all right, so this is a little bit of a pat on the back here. Couple months ago, I think it was early August, we on this program did a segment on a Ford electric crate motor, which Ford calls the Illuminator. I think it's EL. Right. It's, what is it? E-L-U. So they spell it, it's Illuminator, but instead of an I, it starts with an E, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And
not Eliminator, Illuminator.
Right. Get it? Illuminate, right? Like electric.
Right. Illumination.
Okay. So
Dave's not here, man.
We reported on that in early August, and we told you guys you can buy this right now online through Ford. I believe they sold out last week. Ford brings one to the SEMA show, drops it on a pedestal, puts it in the middle of their display floor, and they do an F100 truck restoration.
1978 F100.
Where they drop this thing in, replaced the engine, took the engine out, made it electric, put battery packs in it. Beautiful truck.
Interior is a Mach-E interior. They took the Mach-E interior and basically replicated it inside the cab of this F100.
And so thank you to Ford for allowing us to get traction on something that we told everyone about 2 months ago. See, guys, this is really why you need to subscribe, because
where's Bert?
Because we are months ahead of the rest of the media industry.
I hate to say I told you so.
So
there you go.
Again, we got to it early, and then they showed up with it. We told you it was coming. Bert told you it was coming. You literally heard it here first. If you don't believe me, go back and listen.
Go back and check it out. $3,900 crate motor that you can drop in anything. And, of course, you got clowns out there saying, but the batteries are going to be $30,000. Nah. Wrong answer. They're not. The batteries aren't $30,000. Well, if you want, 3 sets of them, sure.
If you want a 3,000-mile range,
right. But
maybe.
You put this in perspective. You got somebody out there saying, it's going to be X number of dollars to restore this vehicle when you're electrifying. I'd rather just have a gas engine. Well, okay. I know a lot of people who have restored, say, 69 Camaros, and when you saw the bill of what they had to pay for to get it restored the way they wanted it, we're talking probably $100,000.
Well, and think about this, okay? Take that 69 Camaro. It's a great example. It's a great car.
Yeah. Yep.
Drop a couple of these in it. Don't tell anybody. Take it out on a Friday night. I mean, the giveaway is going to be when it pulls up and they don't hear the engine running, right?
Right.
But don't tell anybody what's under the hood. Do one of the no tell, right? Like, what do they call that when you don't look under? You're not allowed to look under the hood.
Right.
Okay. And let's just quarter mile. You want a quarter mile? Let's quarter mile.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
And who's next?
That's right. Pretty amazing
stuff.
Because
that thing is instant torque.
Yep. It is.
And you want to go fast in a resto, that's the way to do it.
Absolutely. And it's less less maintenance and upkeep on it.
Yeah.
If you want to truly restore your vehicle because they're cool to ride in and drive and everything, I get it. We all like to tinker and maintain and that sort of stuff. But sometimes, dude, I like to just get in something and be able to know that it's going to go. And I don't have to, because the battery, died or I got a leaking oil filter or the ignition coil is shot or we got a plug misfiring, a cylinder misfiring because a plug is bad or a wire cracked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Leno said it best. Like, nobody's asking you to get rid of your beloved internal combustion engines.
No.
I'm a huge fan of those too. This turns that F-100 into a daily driver.
It really does. He says this. He says you can daily drive this, and then you can drive your gas car on the weekends. That helps the environment, and that's what that's what this whole electrification movement's
if you're
all
Keith
about anyway.
Urban and you got that '69 Mustang that his wife Nicole had restored for him,
right.
That's a beautiful car that they dropped a big V8 in, right?
Yep.
You're not going to want to drive that car every day. You're going to try to preserve it.
Yep.
Go drive the electric one as your daily driver.
Right.
And then you got that one for, the car shows and the weekends and the cruising, right?
That was right out of Jay Leno's mouth. It really was at the press event.
The guy that owns thousands of cars that is truly museums full of cars, that has rebuilt everything under the sun all the way back to Stanley steamers. I mean, if there isn't I don't know of a bigger authority on, sort of telling you where it's at, right?
Right. That's why Jay Leno is at every show. He's at every Ford event. He was at the breakfast event the first day of the show. Yeah. I mean, again, Keith and I have said this over and over again on the show. We are pro automotive industry. We are pro cars, trucks, having fun, off-roading and all that stuff. But we're also noticing we're not anti-electrification and we're not anti-gasoline. But we're just noticing the trend that the manufacturers are going in, and electrification is part of it. And if you don't think so, then maybe you should have gone by the SEMA Electrified booth where they had on hand, what was it, like a Volkswagen, or the Thing was there, it was electrified. They had a old 67 Bronco, was that what that was? That was fully electrified?
Yeah, I think so.
And then there was an old Land Cruiser, Toyota Land Cruiser, that was fully electrified.
That one that liked how they converted it. They put the electric motors under the hood in the traditional spot where an engine would be. That's not done in true electric vehicles. They have that front space open and the motors are hidden. But the reason they did it is they utilized the cooling provided by the front grille and the what would have historically been the radiator fan to help cool it. So I think that that appealed to me. I like that design.
Right. So you're going to see a theme here: electrification, Broncos, and overlanding. You're going to see this theme. This is what we're going on. So we stopped by. We had, it's like our last day there. There's a couple of extra things that we wanted to do, and we'll get into one of them that Keith and I had the opportunity to do. It was so fun, and I'm glad that, Keith, you had the opportunity to finally get in a Bronco, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. But we stopped by the Truck Hero booth, and goodness gracious, man, they're out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. They're basically a one-stop shop. They are an outlet for a lot of brand names, well-known brand names in the truck accessory market. And I just dropped the video this morning on that. You'll see a SEMA Show Truck Accessory 2021, I think is the name of the video. But they're offering exclusivity from specific brands to specific vehicles, like the Bronco has its own dedicated brand out there, as does Jeep. So they don't cross-pollinate, if you will, or cross-contaminate, if you will. So this brand doesn't offer Jeep stuff that's exclusive to Bronco. This brand doesn't offer Bronco stuff that's exclusive to Jeep. But some of the brands they had there were Bushwhacker, Rugged Liner, Roadworks, Roll and Lock, Superlift, Stampede, Tonneau Pro, Truxedo, Undercover, Retrax, ARE, Alloy USA, Amp Research, Xtang, Backrack, Bedrug. I mean, the list is endless. So make sure you go to truckhero.com, check those guys out. I'm sure they can fix you up, but they offer stuff for suspension, exterior accessories. For example, the Bronco. Now, when the Bronco first came out, probably a lot of you saw the configuration out there where they showed it with when you pull the normal doors off, the regular doors off. They had these doors that had like a hole in the middle of them to let air come through and stuff like that when you're out in the desert and, off-roading in the Baja or whatever, in the Moab or whatever. But I think because of certain NTSB, National Transportation Safety Administration stuff, they couldn't allow them to sell it right off, and maybe they'll get that worked out. But these guys over at Truck Hero had an exclusive bar-type door, so you could take off your regular doors, put these babies on off-road, and you're ready to go. You get all that air flowing up through there, and it was pretty cool. And we dropped that video just recently, so check it out at youtube.com/Parts Kind of Gurus, and you'll see what we're talking about. That was pretty cool. I like that booth. They had some neat stuff going on. Now, you, Keith, interviewed, and we haven't released this video yet, so guys, make sure you pay attention. If you're subscribed, make sure you've clicked that bell so you're notified when it comes out. But tell them about the iCamper spot that we did, man.
Tell them. Why don't we show up? No, I'm just kidding. I think it is. Oh, it will be out soon because I've got it done. I don't think it's in your court yet, Jay, but I think it's that one last step that we go through where it goes from me to you. I think that's all I have to do, and I think it's ready because I finished it yesterday. So it's cool. So iCamper shows up to SEMA, and they've got an all-new line for their rooftop tents. They've expanded that line. They've improved on the existing models with some pretty cool things. Dave, if you're listening, I'm sorry. You're going to need to go out and buy a new mattress for the one that we helped you install earlier this year, because the new mattresses are self-inflating and they're more comfortable and they're just way cooler. So, and they will offer an option to retrofit yours. But they came out with a camp kitchen that they released on Kickstarter. At this point, as you're listening to this, probably a couple weeks ago, and it sold out in a couple hours. And it is hybrid. It'll work on propane. It'll work on butane. It is a full fold down into a duffel bag style. It looks like it's got some cast iron components.
Yes, it does.
So what they were trying to do was they were trying to offer something to the overland crowd and the RV crowd other than just a rooftop tent, because not everybody buys a rooftop tent. There are people that are into RVs and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So they were clever in that aspect to diversify a little bit, and they came out with a new product. But their existing, what they're known for in those rooftop tents, was also on full display. They had one that I've never seen a rooftop tent this big. I mean, it's just massive.
Right. Yeah.
So we did an interview with them. If you want to see that product, just make sure you're subscribed over on the YouTube side, and it'll be coming out in the next day or two. And yeah, you'll get a look at it.
Yeah, well, what was cool about some of the new designs, the 2022 model tents, some of the things that they've added and incorporated in those tents, and you'll see this in the video, they've added like draw blinds on the inside where you can draw the, you can have blinds, you can draw them up, close them down. Just little nice
they've upgraded the canvases and the zippers.
Yeah, they've done a really good job of improving upon an already really good product. So for those of you listening out there, if you have a iCamp Mini, they did say that they do have that inflatable mattress, like you just said, that is available for those older versions.
It just occurred to me, but this is something we talked about with, I think it was, I can't remember his name. I think it was Damon. I might be wrong there. Darren.
Yeah.
Devin. It was Devin.
Devin. Yeah.
Sorry, Devin, if you hear this. We interviewed a lot of people, but I do remember him. But I guess 2 years ago, it would have been the first place that you go to look if you want a product is probably where? Like online, like Amazon, right?
Right.
And because of the supply chain issues now, and I've done this on a couple different things, you're going back to the manufacturer's website is almost a first point to check, because supply shortages have created the need. You get them first from the manufacturer, right? So like iCamper's no exception. He was like, well, go to iCamper.com. I mean, we're going to have them there first, before REI gets them or any of the other outlets get them. So that has driven traffic back to the manufacturers, so they can. It's sort of a direct manufacturer outlet without the middleman.
Right.
Yeah,
it's great to see them grow.
Yeah. So and they're on their like third location move in 3 years, and yeah, it was cool.
Yep. Yeah, it is cool, and that's one of the reasons I had reached out to these guys several times to try to get down to their facility, but could never get any responses. And I think that they're just so busy. And their growth is exponential on their side as well. So again, like Keith just said, they've moved through. Now they're in the process of moving to the newer location.
Right.
And I asked Devin if I could come down, and he said, "Heck yeah, come on down. We got a showroom. We'll show you around."
So that sounds to me like you need to, that's a video waiting to happen, right?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I'll probably grab our good friend Rothmeyer or either Dave,
winter months,
or either Dave, who we installed iCamp Mini, iCamper Mini on his Jeep. So, yeah. Thank you, Devin, for that interview. That was great. Also, big thanks to Dave Tucci. There's a lot of Daves in this conversation, but Dave Tucci at Tucci Hot Rods. That's TucciHotRods.com. We had an interview with him, and you can watch that video as well. He built this monster Bronco, and he put mat tracks on it, man. So it's like a snow machine. It's pretty incredible. We talked to him about that. And he also he built a Ford Maverick, slammed it, man, to the ground.
The new truck.
And knocked
not
it out
the
of the
old
part. The new truck.
Car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The old, not the old
car. It's a really good looking Maverick.
Right. It is. And if you guys, look, if you're not looking for a monster truck and you're just looking for something that's going to be a good size, that quad cab FX4 Lariat that we shot a video on, it's pretty amazing
Maverick,
stuff, man. Yeah, the Maverick.
Camper shell
and it's an
all.
all-wheel drive. Yeah, all-wheel drive. And to me, it looked like what the Ford Ranger looked like.
Sorry.
Say.
I'm sure I'll get called out on this. Not the camper shell, the truck topper, the bed topper.
The truck, the topper.
For you snobs out there. We get these comments. It's like you called it the wrong thing, and you try it. You try it.
Right.
All right. Should we close with the Sunday?
Yeah.
Is that a good? Okay. So Ford Out Front. Okay, a lot of stuff in this Ford Out Front event. Now we were presented with the option. So Ford occupied a huge portion of the parking lot, which is massive, out front of the convention center. And they had drifting. You could get into a Mustang. Jay's got some footage of that's already out on our channel. By the way, Side Shot said he enjoyed your narration. So apparently it was better than
did he
thought
really?
It was. Yeah. Okay. So
thank you,
he said he
Side
liked
Shot.
the style
I appreciate
of it.
that.
So I figured I'd tell you that on air.
Okay. Well, I'll try to get my Barry White. I'll pull my inner Barry White.
So, so they had that. They had all kinds of merch. They had the F-150 Rocket League truck that we podcasted on months back.
That thing, I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot about that. That thing was cool, man.
They had the Earth Roamer. That was, Ford diesel F-Series pickup that they converted, which is huge. It was monster.
That's unbelievable. We got inside of that thing, and just incredible.
All kinds of stuff to look at, yes.
Tell them about that. What is it running off of? The cooking and everything, the hot water heater, off diesel.
Okay, yeah. So the truck is a diesel. It's built on the Ford diesel platform, the Power Stroke, I guess, right? They're still calling them Power Strokes?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yep.
So, whatever they're calling them now, it's the Ford diesel.
No, it's still a Power Stroke. It's just not Navistar.
Okay.
It's Ford built.
And so, one of the things that your luxury RV motorhomes have gone to in recent years, and Sideshot and I have looked at these, it's fascinating, is they use like Aquahot is one of the name brands that they'll put in these big Class A's. And what it does is it circulates water through the floor to heat the coach, but you also use that same hot water to heat your storage bays, to heat your water that you're taking showers with or you're washing dishes with. And it's diesel powered, and it's a little burner that runs to heat the water. It's a boiler system, but because it's so energy efficient, it runs off the same diesel tank that the engine runs off of, but it uses almost no. It's like at full capacity, it uses like a half gallon an hour, and you're never going to run it 24/7, right?
No, not at all. It was pretty cool. The other cool thing was how much solar.
So what they did in this Earth Roamer is they completely removed the generator from the picture. You have solar panels on the roof. You have the diesel powered burners that heat your water and the coach and the RV itself. And then you have lithium batteries. They've gone away from the deep cycle lead acids, and you run everything else off of that. So think about it. Air conditioning, 110 power, AC power, hot water, everything, no generator. It's all powered alternatively, which is fan-freaking-tastic.
Yes, and here's the thing. So all of the energy and research and development into the technology for the battery side of the electrification of cars, look at it. Look what a byproduct of that is. This. Yeah. So don't be scared of batteries, man, because the technology in batteries, their storage capabilities, the ability to quickly recharge with a solar panel.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And just those things are really, really, really improving that experience that you're going to have if you want to get off grid.
They have upped their game in the RV industry, yes, for sure.
It's amazing, man.
So then we get to, and I'm very excited about this, you guys. We have a video that will be out very soon. At the beginning of this program, we talked about a Bronco video. We actually have two. That's two Bronco videos for the price of one. So the second one that will be out involves us taking a ride in a Bronco, but no, it's not just any ride, is it, Jay?
No. In fact, they had later that day, and we'll get into that here in a minute, there was a girl who got on the ride that got super freaked out because of, some of the course was a little... it was real. I mean, the point that Ford was trying to make was this. Look what we built. Look what we can do with it. We told you so.
They pushed the limits of what that thing could do with you in it. Water fording, climbing mountains, ascent, descent, something that's very competitive with Rivian's tank turn that isn't even available yet that you can get in the Bronco that I didn't know about. I mean, there's just, I could go on, watch the video, make sure you're subscribed, and here is the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
We got to do this with someone that is a monster truck driver at the wheel. Todd,
right, and stay tuned. We're not going to give it away.
I can't say his name.
Tuned.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you want it? You want to?
It's Todd.
Go ahead.
It's Todd LeDuc.
Let's do it.
Right? Is it LeDuc?
Todd LeDuc.
Yeah, Todd LeDuc or LeDuc?
It is.
It's LeDuc, right?
It's LeDuc.
He just introduced himself to us at Todd, and we kind of did the math, and we found out he was.
I knew I liked this guy the minute I got in. You want to know why? Because what was on his playlist as we got in? Metallica.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Ride the Lightning, man.
Yes. He's not messing around.
I was like,
so we got to. This is the video that you're going to get to see with us hooping and hollering while an actual, honest to God, monster truck driver, who, by the way, has won. He's a winner. He's a champion.
He's a champion. Yeah, he sure is.
Driving us,
super cool guy,
and having fun at our expense, which was awesome.
Yep, it really was. Had a blast with it. I had, of course, had driven one on normal pavement and was so impressed with it. And you had not gotten a ride in one, and then for you that your first experience inside of a Bronco, that be it. It's like you can't top that unless you own one and you get to do it yourself.
Yeah, and I got to be honest with you, to come full circle and talking about the models at SEMA and how those typically get more clicks and all that. Jay and I were talking in the line before we got on, and we went, we're going to try to get the girl, because there was a couple girls driving. Not because, like for our benefit, but for our audience's benefit, because we felt like there would be more males that would watch the video. Boy, were we wrong. The one to get was Todd, right? Like, there is no doubt it worked out the way it should have.
Yeah, it did. Nothing against the other gals and guys that were driving, but he was a really cool guy, man. I think that we hit the jackpot when we got him as our driver. But look, overland driving, rock crawling, those sorts of things, this is a unisex sport, guys. I'm telling you. There are just as many women that are into this as there are men. And if you don't believe that, you go out there and you check the Instagram feeds, go to SEMA and see who's driving these things. You'll see it. They are into it, man. Everybody's into it. It has captured the attention of just about everybody out there. I think people are finding more time to get off grid, more time to go overland, more time to go enjoy the great outdoors. And SEMA show absolutely represented it this year. I think so. Don't you?
Yeah.
So, wow. I mean, there's more stuff that we could talk about.
You guys are just going to have to watch and subscribe. I mean, it's all coming out, and it's coming out pretty quickly. So don't waste time. Get over there. Jay's probably about to tell you where over there is.
Well, you tell them this time. They're
tired
of listening to me.
Go ahead. Okay, everybody. Let's see. Facebook.com/Parts Counter Gurus is our Facebook page. Jay's posting videos over there all the time. Over on the Instagram side, did you post any SEMA shots on Instagram?
I haven't yet, but I'm going to get them out. I've been trying to get them out because Instagram has changed their platform a little bit. It's a little more cumbersome to get videos uploaded. And we'll have that side conversation later, but I will be getting some stuff out there, so you'll see it.
So Instagram is the Parts Counter Gurus. If you're on Instagram, you can find us there. And then on Twitter, it's at The Counter Show, all one word, at The Counter Show, no spaces, right? And then, of course, our website, which if you've gotten to this podcast, you probably got to it through our website at partscounterguru.com. If you somehow ended up on this podcast in another way, know that you can go to that website, click on the podcast tab near the top left, and you can find your podcast platform of choice. We're on pretty much all of them. And so if there's one that you like, whether it's Apple Podcast or Google Podcast or Spotify or Stitcher or whatever, we're on all of them. And you can find us there. Over on the YouTube side, if you're listening to this podcast, and that's where the real meat and potatoes are, it's youtube.com/Parts Counter Gurus. And is that right, Jay?
You're absolutely right. Hey, man, you're on a roll.
Is that right? Or right? I live where? What's my birthday? So when's our anniversary? Yeah, so it's youtube.com/Parts Counter Gurus. And I mean, like, we're honestly just go search SEMA and look for one of us. We'll probably be in the feed, but make sure you're subscribed there.
Oh,
yep.
And let me add this real quick for our good friends down in Brazil, Race Salon guys, and especially Leonardo, who Leonardo is affiliated with the automotive industry. When I first met him, I met him at SEMA. And so Leonardo, if you're listening, sir, my friend, it was a great show. I hope you get to come back. And if you can make it to the U.S., we will get you in as a Parts Counter Guru. Don't you worry, sir. We will make you a crew member.
Well, he's already on the opening sequence, so it's not like it's that much of a stretch, right? I mean, technically, he's been the part of almost every produced content we've ever done. So, I could make the, I could make him, he's pretty much official already.
Yeah, Pim says hello too, by the way.
Now we're into Jay's personal shout outs. Okay. All right. Anything else? Anybody else you need to, any sponsors?
No, just,
do we need to Ricky Bobby this for a second? Okay.
No. One more thing. Thank you to Lake Speed Jr. of Total Seal. He has a podcast. It's the Total Seal podcast. Go to his website, www.totalseal.com. Thank you for having a moment with us. We chatted with him. We might be having him on our podcast, vice versa. I'll probably see him at PRI. We'll probably see him at PRI. So just kind of
that might be a good place to podcast.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
We'll
maybe
see.
From his booth.
Yeah, we'll see
what happens. So why don't you take us out, pal?
All right, everybody. So hope this has been as fun for you as it has been for us. If not, I don't care. Just make sure you subscribe. So I Jay, have you watched Ted Lasso?
I haven't
Oh
yet.
man,
I keep
Put it
being
on
told
your-
I've got
yeah.
to.
Okay, so
Okay.
if you're a sports fan of any caliber, okay, it doesn't matter the sport, you will love this program. It's not really a family-friendly show, but you don't really have young kids, so I wouldn't worry about that.
I don't have any friendly family anyway.
There's a very wholesome aspect to it, which you will see. It is by far the best show on television that has new show that has come out in the past 2 or 3 years. By far,
Yeah.
no question.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something in it for everybody. The character of Ted is so interesting that actual like professional coaches sort of see him as an inspiration. You know, you hear like actual sports teams referencing him.
Interesting.
So it's probably one of the best episodes of the show, and I'm not going to spoil it for you. But it's a fantastic scene, and it's Ted at his best, and he recites a quote from Walt Whitman, and there's a little lesson in it. And I felt like this was fitting because of all the changes going on in the auto industry right now. The electrification being the big one that people like to complain about. They're worried about where things are going. And I will parallel this to that Ted Lasso episode where Ted says his favorite Walt Whitman quote is, "Be curious, not judgmental."
Oh, I like it. Yeah.
So, for my partner Jay over there, I'm Keith. Thank you guys for watching and subscribing. We'll see you next time.
Hey, everybody. Coming up on today's podcast is the official SEMA Show 2021 wrap-up show for the day. That was easy for me to say, wasn't it, Keith?
Yes. Would you like to start over?
Yeah.
Okay.
In 3.
It's good. Hey, look at it this way, pal. You got that out of the way early in the reel, so it's no big deal, right?
Right.
You mess up in the middle of the show, some people are going to be getting their money back.
Something tells me this is going to be a blooper at the end of this thing. I know you.
3, 2. Wait. I that was a horrible count in. Hang on. Okay.
Are we having fun yet?